Hi guys, how you doing? Hope you're well. My God, that's loud. Which is through me phones anyway. Hope you're well. Yeah. Okay. Well, different things happening in the studio. Echoing a bit there. I don't know if we're echoing a bit on there. Not too bad. Looks like the microphone's back. Right. So, how are we all doing? Got a bit of a buzz there. I don't know what that's caused by. Let's take the recording bit off. I always record it just in case the stream goes dead, and then of course I can still carry on streaming. So it's clever. It's a clever way, just a little bit of a backup system, so I can actually see if I can, keep the recording. Sometimes I had to do that because I couldn't get a strong enough signal, and sometimes I've noticed that when I sort of record back and play back, if there is a bad stream or the stream, actually the network, the strength of the network goes down, it sort of causes a slightly little, basically you sort of stop and start. And I've noticed that when you play it back, it speeds it right up. So I apologise for that if that's happened. I have seen it happening a few times. But good news is we've got a little bit different change around. As you can see, the Technics now, where I am, is over here. And I've got a chair here. And I've got a few other plans. I did actually see two nice keyboards that I'm going to see tomorrow. It's the Yamaha that came out before the Tyrus. It was the top of the range Yamaha that came out. It's this 9000, I think PSR is 9000. And then there's the PSR 3000, or I think it's 1000, 3000, one or the other. Yamahas, both Yamahas. And I've got an idea that they're going to go just over there. There was £500 for about two of them, which is, a fair price. It is expensive, but it's a fair price. I didn't need the stand because it was the old traditional stand. I have the Y stands, which is the ones that come out like that and hold the keyboard. And they look more spacious and they're more lightweight. They got three on there, I've got two downstairs, and I've got this one here actually, but that's just on the normal. This is the one I usually take out for gigs. This one here, PSI spot, the Technics. But also the other two are going to go just there on two more stands, like the same stand I've got like downstairs. Let's put that over there. Maybe a Y stand again, same as what we've got on there. So there you go. Let's change cameras around, see where we're going, see if we've got that one up and running. Yes, we have. There you go. So I've got now a swivel camera, which is, I think it's brilliant. It's not easy. I mean, it was built on the ceiling, and basically I would just swivel it around like that. See that keyboard there, and then you can come back over here. Oops. Oh, it's Jean-Michel Charles' studio, isn't it? Let me go over here. And then we will be going over, if I'll probably get more cable or something. I'll have to dig over there, and it'll be over there, and the other keyboards will be over there. So we'll have another two here on the stand. But as I say, yeah, I mean, it's a standard price. It's not a bad price, really. Them sort of keyboards are making that sort of range price. And to get them for 450, the whole lot without the stand, I think that's quite good. You wouldn't get anything like that trade-in. What he wanted to do is trade in for a big Lowry organ, which I know they're expensive, and they're big. So I understand what's going on. So I'm whipping over to Boston tomorrow to pick these two up, and they will go here. And I think if he's looking at me today, hello. Yes, I will be coming tomorrow. I'm making a noise. But there you go. Just put the stand down there. It's not easy, isn't it? And let me just put the keyboard. I've got my phone here, basically. Hang on. let's just go back to the other camera. I've got my phone here, and I monitor the process so I can see what you guys are seeing. If I go just on my Facebook page, and I can see automatically I've gone live, so it's gone red, and there I am. And then I just double click on there, and then I can talk to you guys back. See, it's as simple as that. And a good news is we've also got my old phone set up on here. If you guys have been following me and know what I've got the Chord Kronos, which is the latest synthesizer, which is a Kronos system, and it's built in on the phone as an app, and you can do loads of things with this thing. I have to turn it down because it's quite loud. So let's just, hang on, press the right button. Or get the wrong button on this one because the phones are different. This is my Huawei phone, and there you go. Let's turn it down a bit. I never know where the slider is on this one. There you go. So if you get Chord Kronos, the latest synthesizer, they're the sounds that it makes. Sort of things like that. You can do sequences, you can do editing, you can do loads of things. Different sound. Things, not much yet, nothing on that one. Loads. We've got a few of those in there and all. I don't quite know what's on that green one. Nothing actually. Interesting. Amazing technology. I mean, it doesn't cost no. Just get the Chord Kronos and download it on your phone. As long as you've got a smartphone, it works really well. Let me show you it. Yeah, that's what she looks like when you've got it on your phone. And I've just caught one of the cables. And it just makes noises. Weird. You can have a synthesizer and all if you want on it. There's nothing on that one. Can't believe there's no on that sound. I love it. I absolutely love it. And there's loads of things you can do on it. You can change the keys. You can change the style. Different style. Got a different sound there. That's on the green. And if you go into the yellow, you can go into this one here, and that changes this section here. And you can change the sound here. You can change the strings. Let's try some strings. Wow, all touch sensitive and all, absolutely amazing. And you got all that. You can change the tempo, you can change the length, If you go up here, you can change all the beats. You can also change the beats and match the beats and also mix the beats. So you've got the beats. If we go here, just make some little patterns. See what that sounds like. That could be interesting. Let's have a look. Might be a bit loud there. And you can also change a few things around. So if you went and you wanted to change a few things back, you want to change that back into a Eurobeat, automatically changes into Eurobeat. If you want to come and drift that back out of the Eurobeat and take it into a house, you want to bring it back into a Euro house. Or if you want to bring half of it into a Euro house and take it into a dubstep. Then we can go to a hip hop. Or in an R&B. And then you can come off that and play along with it. And of course you can go back in and change the beat again. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And it's an app, you just download it from Chord. Coming out that one. So we go back down there and we'll bring that one down into something different. We'll go to a newer beat. But as you bring the little colours down, it fades out and brings out different sounds. So it slowly comes off your normal beat and goes steadily into a normal style. And each one instrument you take off the style, you're going into another style. So eventually, you've got all the stuff on the style that you just transferred to. And then when you go here, you've got your three little colours here. Well, this is now playing the instruments. Bit like Kraftwerk, isn't it? Any Kraftwerk did this 1970s. This is 2025. Really amazing, absolutely amazing. And it's a free app. This is free, just download it. It doesn't cost money. Absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. Instead of throwing my old phone away, I decided to keep it, but just use it on the Wi-Fi. Just log it into the Wi-Fi and download an app. I'll sell a load of these. Or I could do if I wanted. I have to have a word with Korg, see if they want me to do demos. I go, hi guys, I've got my own studio, I could do demos. course you just take it to whatever style you want again. You can go to a trance. You go to minimalism. It's different, isn't it? Let's try it on the green. On that one. Let's try it on the green again. There's something there. And of course the rhythm, you can change the rhythm with the beat. You can go faster or slower. Works a bit more sometimes on different rhythms. So if you wanted to jump straight into a different rhythm, you could just do it by hitting the button on the side here. That would automatically light up all them lights and it would jump straight onto that rhythm. But what you can do is, as a DJ, you can go and take every single, you can put two styles of, like you do mixing on a DJ deck, and you, instead of fading from one song to the other, on here what you can do is bring one of the instruments over from one side to the other, and it's quite easy really, because all you do, this one's firing up at the moment, so if I bring one instrument off there, one disappears off there and comes down here. So now I took the drums off here and going down here. Then the next bit we're going to do is take the bass. And then the next one we're going to take MIDI. And it has its own pattern anyway, because it's got the algorithm in there. Now I can take the blue one off. Let's just take the mid-range. Next thing you take away is the full range. So now you've got that from there, which was a neuro disco, to now a break beat 1, 2, whatever that is. And you can change these gently as you're going along. So I could bring this one down, take the drums from the neuro beat to a moon beat. Okay, now we're going to take the bass. Now we're going to take the mid-range. It's still there. If I go down here, you'll see it's still there. So you've got someone there now. And we can take the next section, which is more of the beat, and take all of it. And if you like that, what you do is you close that, and then you bring the instrument. All these colours here are now instruments. That's the bass of it. And of course, on the beat side, you've got the control, which is this, and then you can bring it to a different thing. You can take it tighter up there, or you can bring it down and open it up a bit more. Slide over here, different effect altogether. Then take it up here, tighten it up a little bit more. So it's tight over here and loose over there. Each different thing comes with different parameters. dead easy when you get to it. Again. Amazing. And of course you've got a sequencer there, like you could actually sequence some more stuff in, so if you did like tapping, you'd tap in some stuff. So I had to do that. Hang on. That's a bit too much of one. So what we need to do here, find out what the instruments do first. Okay. And then of course we got that one over there, which is the green. And then what you can do is you can make a little bit of a beat. I'll try and remember how you do this. Probably when you've not got that one in there, I think I've got to figure out how to actually delete that bit before I can start again. Although I quite like the actual presets that's in there, because they're pretty awesome, they are. Let's try something like, so if we just try on one here. I can come out of that and just have that playing, which is quite interesting, but not quite what I was looking for. Or we can change it to a, just get back here, full electronic, here we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we took it out there, and we should have electronic lead. Well, that's some sort of lead, I suppose. I mean, this is only on a phone. But it is the Core Kronos. I mean, that's one of the best synthesizers around. Today, anyway. Stops over there. And all these instruments are touch sensitive, so you've got the X and Y, which is up and down, and then your Z and the other way, so you've got full radius. Some are actually looped and all. And then we've got this one. Try it, guys. Just download the Core Kronos on Google Play. I love it, it's fantastic. And there's loads of things this thing does. It's got loads of loopers and everything. Nice little loop pattern. Also, you can change the length of the sounds. You can change the chord patterns. You can change the chords themselves. You can have 64s, you can have 120s, 416s, 1016s, and you can change each video, each voice can do all this. You can change all that and all. So it's all a case of programming, just like the synthesizer. Loads and loads of things. Wait a minute, clear, very sure, yes. Thank you. Okay, so what I've got now is I've cleared it, so now I can show you how the looper works. So if we want to make a pattern with the looper, I'm going to pick an instrument, which is, I suppose really we want to start off with beat. Okay, so we're going to start off with a beat, and I'm going to press the record, and now we're doing a beat. Four loops, that's all it needs. See, it remembers it. Next bit, we're going to go into here. And now we're going to do a lead. There you are, you see she comes in there. And I can also add on to that. Next bit we're going to put some bass in. And then we're going to put the beat on. Now once it's done that, now it changes every time I touch the pad now, what it will do now, it will give me a different effect. So if I start in this corner here, that's brought it tighter. That's brought it looser. That's brought it quicker. And that's added a cymbal on that one. And there's your loop. Let's give you the pattern anyway. And then of course you can just go back straight to your preset patterns. And we can go right to the top in minimalism. That's a nice chilled out one. It's all the latest beats that you have nowadays for the ambient sort of loop So if we just go on to the first one here, come out that one, let's see what that one is. Sound familiar? Let's just link that one off, clear that one out. So you've got full control over it, that's the good thing about it. Just go up here, down here. Crazy. So if we go into loops again, and we come out of that one. Amazing. Yeah, so where do you go from there? Well, once you set your pattern in, then you can use a style and a loop. Now, the loops are made pre-done into the actual thing itself. So if we take electronic, so what I've made is now changed it to electronic loop. I gave it the first bit, and now it's given me electronic loop within that style and sound that I've done. So now I can play over the top. Well, when I find an instrument powerful enough. Actually, they're quite quiet. They're quite quiet and all. Still star. Absolutely love it. Seems to be the way nowadays. It seems to be all this sort of thing nowadays. Everyone just seems to press buttons instead of press keys. Luckily enough, I still keep the old keyboards and I do it the old traditional way, but it's handy to have a little bit of a kit like that. I wouldn't pay £600 for the original instrument, but, well, actually, I think it's about nearly £2,000 for the keyboard side, but they do a modular, which is like this, basically, but a box. But they also give you this, which is the, you know, gives you an idea what it does. But there's no sort of limits. You can download this thing and play for you whatever you want. And it's got the famous looper, which Ed Sheeran uses, like, you know. So amazing, absolutely amazing. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll put this one back up here. Hang on, I'll figure out where it goes. Let's put you back over there. And it's there if I want to play it. And all it is basically in a she's in a loop, and that's what does all the loops now. And then I just put it through my mixer. And then choose. So you can do things like that. But the other two keyboards are going here. But without further ado, we'll do some music for you guys. There you go, nothing's programmed, it's all live. Moving you over to a new camera. Incidentally, if you've been listening to some of the stuff that's not been making completely sense, there is a reason for that. When I do live stream, I have to do it a little bit different, or I'll get a copyright strike. And they are a pain in the... Okay. Wow. There you go, nothing to it. I have this ability where I just hum the tune in my head and it just comes to me. But yeah, that's what it does. Now, with the additional to the other two keyboards, which will be over there, we're just going to turn to this one now. I feel like Jules Holland now, going around to different places. Like, you know, we're going over to that band, then we're going to that band, you know, that sort of thing. And what we got here? Interval. There you go. Actually, I need to turn the camera. So I've got a little stool down here. And we put this little stool down here, and then I can reach the camera and turn it round. It's all high tech here, mate. I tell you, all high tech. Let's turn the camera around, put it in the right place. Let's tighten it up. There you go. Let's change over the camera. Modern technology. There you go. I was on the right camera anyway. Okay. Now this one is the Technics. This is the top of range of the Technics now. So I seem to have top of range of everything at the moment. Top of the range of Casios that basically came in this country because they were so expensive at the time. There's £2,000 each these things were. This one was 2,000, but we are talking back in the 80s. Yes, I know. Looking at 11 grand each. But nowadays you can pick them up for nothing. I mean, I'm picking up two keyboards for about it was 500 pounds, 400. They are roughly about the same. The market is there at the moment. It's in a strange one at the moment. The vintage keyboards are really, really low at the moment. But if you give it another 5 years, they will shoot up again. Now, I'll keep these definitely for 5. I'll keep them all the time anyway. I've got the best of everything, really. The best guitarists, the best guitarists they made, apart from the 5, I ain't got 5. The best of the Technics they ever made, and the best of the Casios they ever made. So, this is why you're getting this high quality sounds. Here we go! Actually, we need a preset for that. Hey, like the Brazil. Not quite what I was after. We're going to do this one. A little bit of Elton John, actually. I've got to find it first. But the sounds are so fantastic on these keyboards, they are absolutely unbelievable. Can't find if you can think that. Oh yeah, there you go. What's it called? I like the sound anyway. I'll tell you what, guys, since you've been listening to me, let me give you some treat here. Bon Jovi's starting up as their tour again, and they obviously made it famous in the 80s with this one. Not Living on an Island. That was a bit of Crow, I think. Yeah. I love it. Okay, so this one was Living on the Prayer. And that's what the Technics top of the range sounds like. I mean, we're looking at about 30-year-old keyboard here. I mean, they are 4-year-old, 40-year-old. The ones I'm picking up tomorrow are possibly, they're probably in the 40-year-olds. No, they came out just on the 90, so they're same with this one, 30-year-old. And the 1, 2 downstairs are 20-year-old, so they are old keyboards. But they're built really well. In them days, they really built them well. There was no sort of problem. There was a big recession, so everyone built things better. Nowadays, if you buy something new, it'll probably break because they're built to break. After the 90s to 2000, the companies realised that they could make things thinner and thinner and save money, but then of course it would break. But then of course that's good because the customers is going to come back here, you know, which is wrong. But I always stick with the old keyboards. I mean, these things are still going like brand new anyway. And the ones I'm picking up tomorrow, they've been well looked after because I know he's a musician, so he will look after them. I don't think he'll gig with them. I hope not gig with them. The only one I gig with is possibly sometimes this one, but mostly the PSI's 500, the little baby. Go to the care homes with that one. But yeah, you know. If you look after the instruments, they look after you. Here is a bit of Elton John. 30 year on and they still sound just as good as the day they came at the factory. Here's another one. This one is Rocket. I call it Rocket. I don't know why I call it Rocket actually. It's actually another Elton John one, but it's not Rocket. You'll know what it is in a minute. There you go, guys. All in 432, tuned in 432. These keyboards are all formed in tuning, because I seem to be playing in a frequency which is completely different to everyone else's. And oh well, thank you very much. That's more special sound effects than there. Oh dear. I've got a box of tricks here if you've seen it, and it sort of does all sorts of weird and wonderful things. It can even change my
voice. It can change my voice. It can change my voice. Yes.
And it changes my voice. It does.
I changed my voice. And I have to remember. No.
Hang on, I have to remember where the button is.
Yes, the button is.
Okay, let's go up to that channel. Yeah, so it's all comical stuff there. Anyway, I think there's lots of people on board. Let's say hello to whoever's on board. Loads of people around the world. We got Fred. Hi, Fred. And Joe's. We've got Diana. Hi, Diana. Colin Brewster. Yee. How you doing, boy? All right. Ian's in there. And I can see a lot more on there, but I can't turn the thing because it won't seem to go up. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. I know it's getting on a bit late, but you know me, I sort of carry on and enjoy myself and keep going. That's the good thing about playing in 432. You're not playing in a frequency which is so fucking horrible. 440. Why the hell did people teach 440? It's not the secret. It's not. Be a proper good musician, you don't want to play in 440. You want to tune your keyboard to 432. It's as simple as that. Back in the 60s, the Rothschilds knocked out all the bells which were 432 and put a 440 on, and that was in the 60s. Unfortunately, now professors and people that's been trained from 60s swear by it. Now it's 440 you started playing. You tune your keyboard to 440. No, it's the horrible, dronest sound that you can ever freaking well make. You tune it to 432, and that gives you a lovely, smooth sound. No matter what you play Tchaikovsky, you can play anything. And it's not a drone sound. And believe it or not, guys, you keep the guys that play the keyboard. It's easier to play. It's not hard to play. But you've got to knock out them dots out the window. That's the only problem. Oh, no, that's cool. Yeah, and all I do is just pick the songs. And on this, you've got a big screen, so you can actually play it and work out what you want to put on there. And you've got 10 banks, or 8 banks, so you've got 80 different things. I put styles in there, I do, and then I could just play along with them. It's dead easy. Not MIDI, don't do MIDI. God, no, Christ, don't do MIDI. MIDI is one of the worst things you can do. It's just such a big cheat. Playing off an MP3 player or a CD player, just play the bloody thing properly yourself. Cider drinker. cider drinker, and then Russ Abbott. What an atmosphere! What an atmosphere! That was the one. Yeah. How about a bit of ABBA? A little bit of party stuff there. Some of many stuff I can do. Yeah, it's just when I hum the head in my head, hum it in my head. Or I used to. I don't do it so much now. It just comes naturally. I think it's been programmed in my head. Well, it's coming up to 2 hours and 12 minutes, looks like, or possibly a bit more actually, because I started at 11, or somewhere in there, half 11, say so, half 11, half 12, half 1, half 2. Yeah, it's not too bad. This is the thing when you do 4-3-2, you just want to keep playing. It's a frequency you love, and a frequency that music, loads of people love. I mean, I've got over 85,000 people around the world that love my music on different social medias, on different platforms. So, hello, where's he gone? Oh, he's up there. Got a camera there with the light, so it's lighting straight on me. But yeah, this is, you see, there's a lot to it. It's not just press the button nowadays. You got to press a button in the right combination, in the right time, in the right area. Bring in different things. You are the musician. You basically are the conductor. You're up there, aren't you? Let me bring you back down here. Let me bring you back down. There you go. You are the conductor. You see, that's the thing, and it all goes like that. So, all good stuff. Thank you very much. And where's my old girl?
I love it. You guys are so great.
I know, yeah. I don't know. Keep paying her every week. Oh, yes, I know. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Okay, well, very, very good. I hope you enjoyed it tonight, and with me, leave you with one more. I always do this one. Colin knows this one. I always do this one. In fact, I might actually do one for Colin, because Colin absolutely loves rave. For some reason, he likes rave. So I've actually programmed something in here for him, which is, he likes rave, so I'm going to put a lot of rave in there. It's one he likes every week, so I'm going to put it on. Just for you, Colin. I've got to find the picking thing first. With human, that's the one. No, next one. Synthesizer pop songs, there you go, that's the one. Bit of believe, mate, believe. Give you the camera then. There you go, Colin. Bit of techno for you. So, thank you very much for joining me. This is Thank You for the Music. And there you go, that's all there is to it. It's not hard. Thanks for joining us, guys, all around the world. Hope you had a fantastic time. We just put that on there. There you go. So, yeah, if there's any music you want me to try and play sometime next time, let me know. Stick it on the bottom there. Check out my YouTube if you want a lot more of these things, because I've done loads. And I think 460 videos, something like that. Close on 10,000 posts or something like that. There's quite a few. You get quite a few doing every week, and it sort of adds up. It's quite amazing how fast it goes. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me. I will turn this camera around so you can actually see a little bit more of the equipment, what we run. It's dead simple, really. I've got a headset on and with some normal headphones. And then all we do is bring it round again. Around there, I think. Let's have a look. It's all high tech here, mate, I tell you. High tech, there you go. I think that's not too bad. So this is the box of tricks. This little thingy, it costs me £35, but it's got some rare things. I can listen to everything back to my headphones. I can split things out. I've got special effects. I can have different effects for my microphone. I can have different effects that come in. I've got voice changes. I've got karaoke effects. So I press karaoke. La 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 la. So you could do a karaoke. Together, like that sort of thing. I don't know what to sing. Yeah, so it's got quite a lot of echo on that one actually. But you can bring them down though, you can take them down a bit, and then we can bring them right up to the top right. So got all that changed. It's actually an amazing bit of kit, because apparently you can use this, you can Bluetooth this thing, and it will actually do 3 phones. And I've tried it on one. It will actually do so it's doing a video, and the voices are coming in here like. And you can either have it to the computer, or what I've done is done to the headset. And I've got a little box here, this flashing box here. That's actually a transmitter that goes to my headphones, which is on my, well, not my headphones, this microphone that's around my neck. That's a microphone around my head, actually. If I go there, now you can see what I'm on. This thing here, if I go there, you see that's one of them with a microphone, and it talks to that bit down there, and then my headphones are actually on wire, so I have to be careful on them because they're still on the old traditional one. I might try a Bluetooth set, but then of course I don't get this best microphone effect. I don't know, it's all, you know, everything's changed in the studio. I've got my iPad here, which shows me all my videos, and also, if you like all my stuff I've got at the moment, check out BANDCAMP. That's where all my stuff is, all my albums. Basically, they're not hard. They're not. Well, they're not dear. They're £5 to listen to the whole album, and basically you can download it. Or basically, if you want to go another way, it's £1.20, I think, a song, something like that. So there's loads on there. There's 35 albums of everything you can think of. We've got rock ones, which are some of them I've done today. We've got ELO, we've got the Beatles, we've got ABBA, got some of my Jean-Michel Jarre stuff, and I've also got some different stuff. There's some relaxation stuff. What I do with that is I take some sounds that I made in the studio and I muck about with them, slow them down and speed them up and do things like that. And it gives you that effect, like, you know. So, and then of course we've got some more effects on this thing down here, like. The audio.
Awesome!
I know. So there you go. It's.
Love it! You guys are so great!
I must be overpaying her. Okay, so obviously we go down to the critics, and we'll see how the critics are doing. So,
What do you reckon? What do you reckon? Well, I do. I think it was good. It was good. It's a nice bit of music. Oh dear. Nice bit of music. And, excuse me, I'm playing. Okay. So, yeah, it's very good. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Yes, that's good. Thank you very much. I like that. Very nice, relaxing.
And, yeah, that's pretty good. Nice, booming around and, you know, jiggering, chiggering. It's all good.
Yeah, that's like it.
so yeah, I don't know what happened then. It went all weird. Thanks for the critics there. Thanks for critics. Okay, so guys, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you had a fantastic time. We will have some extension, 2 more keyboards here. So altogether I'll have 8 keyboards in the house. That will really please somebody. So basically the keyboards, they're kind of there. I'm going to have a look at them tomorrow. So I'm going to get this onto YouTube later on, and I will see you for the Sunday chill for the other 2 keyboards downstairs. Got music all over the place. It ought to be Steve Francis. Music on the hill, because we're on the hill looking over Bourne. I'm in the posh side of Bourne, in a big house. So yeah, it's I've got all these rooms from this one I like from a studio. I mean, sometimes I can just unplug everything here, and I've got 4 speakers, so I'm actually in the middle of everything. So at the moment, everything's on my headphones, and I'm talking very gently like that. I mean, I'm really nearly whispering, but that's why I've got this thing on my head, because I've got an organ person next door that usually gets drunk. And well, when she's out of it, I do this. So there you go. Thank you very much for joining us, and I will see you tomorrow at Sunday Chill. And if my mate's listening, I will see you tomorrow to pick the organ up, the 2 keyboards up, and we'll see you. Take care, guys. Thanks for joining us. If you want to do any stars, that's like a clapping thing or a tipping thing. I think that's what they'd say. That's the way that Facebook do it. Thank you very much. I'll I will not say no because I'm building my stars up. It's not a lot. I think it's 1 pence or something silly like that. But it's just something nice to actually build up. It doesn't hardly cost anything, or don't make anything out of it. It's just you have all these nice little stars around. Clever little system, but yeah, I don't know. I think what it works, you actually buy a load of stars and then you give them out. I think it works like that. I'm also working on another thing. I've got a new system I'm working on. I'm putting a start to put my music on another way of doing things. Like Spotify, if you listen to Spotify, basically I'm not really keen on Spotify because I've never streamed with them sort of companies. I think they're rip-off merchants. So basically what I do is I put it on a section. If you look on one of the links there, it says SOUNDCLOUD. It's German because the German guy, big company guy, decided to do this, and he's got the same mind as me, so I'm helping him out. And what it is, we've basically got this website where it's a radio station, okay? It's a radio station with a difference. It's a radio station that you're in control, and what you can do is you basically put £10 in a kitty or online in your box, whatever they do it like nowadays, and you use some of that money to listen to your music. Now, that seems a bit strange, must admit, because you're not going to keep this music. This music, you're paying for it, because it would cost a fortune to store the stuff, so we don't do it that way. But basically, it's each song is not £1, like a lot of people are paying, for their music. These songs you can listen to for pence, 5 pence, 4 pence, 5 pence, 4 pence. You can listen to a video for 10 pence, I think it is, something like that. The good thing about it is they go straight to the artist, which I think is a fantastic thing because, as I say, Spotify rip you off left, right and centre. They actually charge £10 for a month, or probably £16 a package for a family package. And, have you ever added that up over the years, how much you're spending? It's absolutely a rip-off. And the artist, unfortunately, the poor old artists don't get note out of it. Artists like me, an independent artist, would have to make something like 12,000 downloads to make anything like about £1. And some of them can't live on that. It's bad, really. Luckily, I've looked after myself and that, so I'm okay, that sort of thing. But, I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible. It really is. But this system, although it's such a small amount, whatever you give to them, they get it straight away the next day. And I think that's the fairest way of doing things. And it's getting right big. I mean, if you look at SOUNDCLOUD, he's got a nice little website going on there, and it works really well. It's all kosher. You can listen to the songs. You can, if you listen to one song, it's 5p, but that artist will get 3p. Now, it might sound strange, but he's not having to get 50,000 downloads. He's not having to do 50,000 streams to get something like 1 pence. He's actually made 3 pence out of one song. So, you can do the maths. A lot of people listening to these records, a lot of fans listening to them. I think it's very fair, and that's why I'm steadily putting my music over to that level. I am actually putting all the music over there as an option, and then if I have any more problem from BANDCAMP, I'll take them all together, and it will be completely exclusive what I do then. So I think that's the best way of doing it, because you've got to be fair to the artist, because he's giving you the music, and Spotify are not. They've took that music over, basically saying, we'll give you give us our music, that music, and we'll spread it all over the world. Yeah, you'll spread it all over the world, but you changed all the bloody price, didn't you? It would have been okay if you spread it all the world and they got all them people, and then basically that artist got 1p or something for a song, which it should have been. But no, you've fucking idiot. You went 0.1. Who the hell worked all that lot out, you know? Just for yourselves. But the thing was, if you didn't have the music, you wouldn't exist. You know, that's the thing. So anyway, I will disappear now, and thank you very much for joining me. I'm going to disappear, get that music onto YouTube and all the other websites around the world and social media. And it's been great. I've enjoyed it. Hope you've enjoyed it. And watch out for the other 2 keyboards. They'll be there tomorrow. Well, possibly if I can get the stands. So take care. I'll see you soon.